you're coping okay with the lockdown. So we're just into week 2 and I've kind of probably done what a lot of people have done. I've got all of this spare time, I'm going to do more training. And we're not allowed outside and I can't go swimming, so I've kind of done more cycling and more time on the turbo than I have for months. So with it, after about 5 days, guess what? I've given myself saddle sore. And at the same time, I had a conversation with one of my clients, one of my triathlon friends, about exactly the same subject. So it just coincided, and I thought I could have a little chat and give you some of my top tips on how to troubleshoot the sore bum. So the first thing to do is just really simple, is to check your shorts and your cycling tights to make sure they fit properly, so they're not too baggy, they're not too tight. Make sure they've got a decent pad. If your shorts have worn out, then the pad will be worn, and again, you know, you could do with a new pair, or just try cycling just try a different pair of shorts. So that's the first thing, check your shorts or your tights. The next thing to do is to get some chamois cream, because that's going to help to stop the rubbing, help to stop the friction, and it's just a really simple tip to try before you start adjusting anything else. So the chamois cream, you're going to apply that on yourself, on your bits, all over, and also on your shorts, all over the pad. Just to be a little bit cautious, just apply some common sense about double dipping into the tub and making sure you're not sharing it with anyone else. And also, once you've got it on, it doesn't feel very pleasant. It does feel a bit like nappy cream, but you get used to it pretty quick, and as soon as you start riding, you forget it's there. But it does really help. This week I've forgotten to use the chamois cream, that's why my bum hurts, but my husband, he uses it every time he gets on the turbo. Next thing you're going to do is check your training. So you're not going to make the same mistake that I've made and just double down on your training, you know, and within a week do double the amount of time on the turbo. So you need to gradually ease into it, just like you do with any training. Your bum gets used to it and adapts to your saddle, just like legs get used to cycling. Okay, so just check your training, make sure you haven't overdone it, maybe take a couple of days off the bike. Next thing you can do is just think a little bit about how you're riding. So if you do loads of time on the turbo, it is very static. It's not the same as riding outside. And so you are quite likely to, you know, get a sore bum from doing more time on the turbo. So just have a think about, can you ride a little bit more outside or do something a bit different? You know, one strategy I'm going to take, I am fortunate in that I do have a household of bikes, so I am actually going to swap my bike over, so I'm sitting on a different saddle for the indoor turbos just for a couple of sessions. So check your training, think about maybe swapping bikes and going outside. If you're still having problems, next thing you're going to do is have a look at your bike fit. And you could just do some simple things yourself, like looking at the height of your saddle. If it's too high, you could be rocking, your pelvis could be, and your bum could be moving about on the saddle. That's definitely going to rub. If it's too low, again, you could be getting different sort of problems. So check the height, check the angle. So maybe if you adjust the angle, do it with a Spirit Leisure, so you can measure it, measure your starting point and measure what you've changed it to. That might change the pressure points. That might help in some way if you've got the patience to work through that on your own. Ultimately, it is well worth getting a professional bike fit, because they'll have pressure mapping software, they'll be able to talk to you about saddles and adjust all sorts of different things. So professional bike fitter, well worth it if you're struggling on a longer term basis with saddle sore. If you've worked for all of that and your bum still hurts, next thing you're going to think about is your saddle. And for sure, in particular, women will often have bikes with male saddles on them. And so changing for a female specific saddle or something of a different shape is definitely well worth it. Do not think that you need to suffer through cycling with a sore bum, because you don't. And if it hurts that much, it's not pleasant, and long term it can cause you damage. So definitely then start thinking about your saddle And again, a professional bike fitter could help with that, or, you know, talk to different people, try different bikes, borrow a bike from a friend. I have a garage full of saddles that anyone is welcome to borrow to see what hurts and see if a different shape is better. If your saddle sores carry on hurting on a long-term basis and they're not clearing up, then you need to get down the pharmacist in the first instance and ask for something to treat them. So I've had a couple of days off the bike. I've got my chamois cream out, my shorts seem fine, I've got a different bike lined up, and yeah, so I'm looking forward to getting on my turbo later, you know, and hopefully my bottom has eased up a little bit. So I hope that helps, but if anyone's got any other tips or any comments or suggestions or experiences, then let me know.